worked so hard and I can't hear any of the commencement speakers because of the chanting that is pro.
In a shocking turn of events that sent shockwaves through the cable news world, Fox News anchor Dana Perino broke down in tears and resigned live on air. Her co-hosts were left stunned, and viewers across the country immediately rushed to re-watch the unforgettable moment. The emotional farewell seemed to come out of nowhere. Known for her composed, sharp, and poised demeanor, the former White House press secretary completely broke down in front of millions. What could have driven the unshakable Dana Perino to this breaking point? Was it behind-the-scenes drama, internal betrayal, or something even more serious? Rumors are already circulating, claims of growing tensions within the network, pressure from executives, and even an off-camera confrontation. This wasn't just any resignation. It was a major shakeup in the media landscape. What we've uncovered will leave you speechless. Stay with us as we take you through the emotional collapse and reveal the truth behind Dana Perino's on-air exit. She was once a student who dared to dream big. What was supposed to be a routine episode of The Five quickly turned into a national moment of disbelief. Usually the image of composure and grace, Dana began to tremble. Her voice quivered, and tears started rolling down her cheeks. The panel sat frozen in silence. Then came the unimaginable. "I can't do this anymore," Dana whispered, her voice breaking. And with that, she announced her resignation live. No script, no warning, just raw emotion. But why? What invisible burden had she been carrying for so long? Was it burnout, a betrayal, or the heavy demands of leading in a high-pressure media empire? Before she was a familiar face on cable news, Dana Perino was a small-town girl growing up under the vast skies of Wyoming. Her life was simple, grounded in values rather than extravagance. Born in Evanston and raised near Denver, she came from a family that believed in speak up, work hard, stay humble. Her grandfather, a rugged cattle rancher, taught her resilience. Her father, Leo, who went from janitor to salesman, would have Dana read the newspaper aloud at dinner every night. Those family discussions sharpened both her voice and her thinking. Though she wasn't raised in political circles, she always had purpose. Dana wasn't your average child. While other kids played games, she practiced Ronald Reagan speeches in front of a mirror. Her father helped build her confidence one word at a time. That unusual routine, she later said, developed the strong communication skills that would someday serve her well in the White House press briefing room. "I was preparing for the biggest stage of my life and didn't even realize it," Dana once reflected. Who would have thought that her childhood mirror speeches would lay the foundation for handling the toughest press corps in the world? Dana's curiosity knew no bounds. At Colorado State University in Pueblo, she studied public communication, with minors in political science and Spanish. She wasn't just attending classes, she was preparing for a world where media, politics, and international affairs intersected. Her professors described her as especially intelligent, articulate, and deeply focused. She had a mission: to bridge the divide between ordinary citizens and the powerful institutions that shape their lives. While many her age were still figuring things out, Dana was already making history. In 2007, she became the first Republican woman, and only the second woman ever, to serve as White House press secretary. The girl from the ranch was suddenly standing center stage, facing down the world's toughest journalists. Behind her polished image was a core of steel. But even the strongest can reach a breaking point. As her classmates partied or slept, Dana took on the 2 a.m. shift at a country radio station. She would later say it was there she truly learned how to connect with people. No matter how tired she was, she always showed up ready. That sense of discipline stayed with her all the way to the West Wing. Her early days at Capital Journal, a PBS political show, weren't glamorous, but they were vital. It was there she learned to think quickly, speak clearly, and explain complicated issues. She called it junior bear cub reporting, but that's where the fire was lit. She knew she belonged in the world of politics, lawmaking, and the spotlight. After college, Dana pursued a master's degree in public affairs reporting at the University of Illinois Springfield. The program was rigorous and hands-on. She joined WCIA, covering serious political stories from the state capitol, not fluff pieces or recycled press releases, but real, gritty reporting. She learned how government actually worked and how to explain it to regular people in plain, honest language. No spin, no filter. By the late 1990s, Dana was ready. She packed her things and moved to Washington, D.C. Her first real job was just the beginning. Dana Perino's start in Washington wasn't glamorous. She began as a staff assistant for Congressman Scott McInnes, a role filled with coffee runs and behind-the-scenes tasks, but she took it seriously. Dana soaked up everything she could about the inner workings of Capitol Hill. Not long after, she became press secretary for Congressman Dan Schaefer, where her instincts for media and communication began to shine. It was there that she learned how to craft messages, shape narratives, and stay composed under pressure. That experience shaped her into one of the calmest, most effective voices in the nation's capital. By 2007, she had gained the president's confidence and was promoted to a historic position. At just 35, Dana Perino became the second woman and the first Republican woman to serve as White House press secretary. The role meant stepping in front of the cameras every day to speak on behalf of the president. Every sentence mattered. Even a pause could carry weight. Dana handled the responsibility with poise, compassion, and accuracy. Speaking to students at George Washington University, she once said, "When you work in the White House, it's not about you. It's about serving something bigger." Her accomplishments didn't stop there. Dana co-founded Minute Mentoring, a speed networking program designed to help young women advance in their careers more quickly. Even in 2009, with her schedule packed with speaking engagements, TV appearances, and a book tour, Dana made time to give back. She wasn't just talking about leadership, she was living it. Unlike many public figures, Dana didn't use ghostwriters. Her communication was authentic, filled with warmth, wit, and wisdom. Her writing had the tone of a heartfelt conversation with a trusted friend. Whether she was giving advice, reflecting on challenges, or recalling key moments from her press briefings and speeches, her unique spark always came through. After she left the White House and transitioned to Fox News, Dana realized that TV only captured part of her story. Books, she later said, offered something more permanent. Writing became both a form of empowerment and a way to heal. It helped her reconnect with her true self. For Dana, the quiet of the page provided a kind of freedom she couldn't find in the spotlight. Her debut book, And the Good News Is, hit shelves in 2015 and quickly became a bestseller. She didn't just type out a manuscript, she wrote the entire book by hand. Picture stacks of yellow legal pads filled with personal memories written in longhand. She told the Washington Post that she cried while writing some of the pages, but that it also felt freeing. She was finally sharing her story in her own way. Her second book, Let Me Tell You About Jasper, was a surprise hit. What began as a personal tribute to her beloved Vizsla, Jasper, became a national favorite. Jasper wasn't just a pet. He was a symbol of Dana's softer side, a viral star on social media, and a frequent guest on Fox News. In 2021, her third book, Everything Will Be Okay: Life Lessons for Young Women, was released and quickly resonated with readers everywhere. It wasn't just another self-help book, it was a heartfelt guide for navigating life's chaos with confidence. Dana wrote with honesty and care, almost as if she were speaking to her younger self. She tackled tough topics like imposter syndrome, toxic workplaces, heartbreak, and how to find strength through adversity. In interviews, she said, "I wanted to be the voice I didn't have back then." And that's what she became, a steady source of guidance in a noisy world. Her husband, Peter McMahon, a witty British businessman who always believed in her, played a key role in her writing journey. He reviewed drafts, gave feedback, and supported her through the emotional toll of writing. When things got heavy, he showed up with a glass of wine and encouragement. Their peaceful life away from Washington, with Jasper always nearby, gave Dana the grounding she needed to find her voice again. Dana once said, "Peter reminded me that my voice mattered," and readers could feel that. Her books weren't performances, they were honest expressions of who she was. Even before she became an author, Dana was widely respected for her unshakable composure. During her time as press secretary from 2007 to 2009, she faced intense challenges: wars abroad, an economic crisis at home, and a press corps that was more aggressive than ever. Still, she built a reputation for being clear, respectful, and meticulous. Her secret? Preparation. Dana studied relentlessly, often staying up late to go over briefing materials. When she stepped down from her White House role in 2009, she did so with her integrity intact and her reputation solid. Speaking at the Hudson Union Society, she recalled, "You never forget the weight of those walls. Every word mattered. Every decision had consequences." For Dana, it wasn't just a job, it was a calling. Many expected her to quietly step away from the public eye after her time in the White House, or perhaps publish a memoir and fade from view. But Dana had other plans. She reinvented herself and jumped headfirst into the fast-paced world of television journalism. After some deep reflection, Dana Perino realized she still had more to say, but she no longer wanted to say it from behind a government podium. "I didn't think I wanted to stay in Washington," she admitted. "I had done all I could." Then, in 2011, everything shifted. The Five premiered, a panel-style program that replaced traditional reporting with spirited discussions and personal perspectives. Dana was one of the show's original co-hosts. And for the first time, America got to see the unfiltered Dana Perino. "I wasn't speaking for someone else anymore," she said. "I needed to find my own voice." And she did, brilliantly. Dana became the show's calm center, bringing reason and balance with her trademark intelligence, humor, and warmth. Forget dating apps. Dana's love story sounds like something straight out of a Nora Ephron movie. Back in 1997, burnt out from the chaos of DC politics, she caught a flight from Denver to Chicago. Fate had other plans. She ended up sitting next to a charming British man with a warm smile, a lovely accent, and no wedding ring. Within 2 hours, they had fallen for each other. His name was Peter McMahon. He lived in the UK, had 2 children, and was 18 years older than her. This wasn't a romantic comedy, it was real life. But Dana trusted her gut. She flew to England, ignored the doubts from others, and followed her heart. They married in 1998, just a year after that unexpected meeting in the sky. For over 20 years, Peter has been her anchor. Whether she was preparing for a press briefing or working late into the night on a manuscript, he was always by her side. In a world that often forces women to choose between ambition and love, Dana found both. She married a man who believed in her strength and never tried to hold her back. Then came 2008, one of the most unforgettable moments of her career. During a press conference in Baghdad with President George W. Bush, everything suddenly erupted. In a powerful act of protest, an Iraqi journalist threw not 1, but 2 shoes at the president. Secret Service agents moved immediately. In the chaos, Dana was hit in the face by a boom mic. It felt surreal, she recalled, but even as blood rushed to her face, her focus remained on the president's safety. She didn't scream. She didn't panic. She kept her composure. Despite having a bruised eye, she went back to work. That moment left more than just a physical mark. It became a symbol of her resilience. She had been taking hits for years, but she never let it shake her. Delivering good news every day wasn't just a job. It was a mission for Dana. As White House press secretary during the final years of the Bush administration, she faced unrelenting challenges. From the war in Iraq to the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, criticism came from every direction. The press was harsh, approval ratings were slipping, and emotions ran high. Still, Dana stayed the course. That job requires real patience, she later told Cosmopolitan, reflecting on a live emotional moment she experienced. It happened during a segment on The Five, during a heated discussion about the #MeToo movement. Women around the world were sharing their stories, while powerful men were being held accountable. In that intense moment, Dana made a comment that sparked immediate backlash. While it's a tough situation, I do think women in professional environments have to handle things in ways that protect their careers. To many, it sounded like she was blaming victims. Social media exploded. She was accused of being out of touch, lacking empathy, and missing the movement's core message, justice for survivors of harassment. But Dana didn't run from the fallout. She didn't make excuses. She owned it. I understand why people were hurt by what I said, and I didn't express myself well, she clarified. Her intent was never to silence women, but to encourage them. For some, the damage was already done. But her response, honest and humble, stood out in a world where few take real responsibility. Dana was no stranger to high-stakes environments, but even the most composed professionals stumble. Later, on another live episode of The Five, Dana mistakenly shared internal Fox News information that wasn't meant for public ears. It wasn't classified, but it was supposed to remain private. Headlines called her reckless. Critics labeled her unprofessional. For someone who once represented the leader of the free world, the criticism cut deep. Still, she didn't retreat. I'll be the first to admit when I make a mistake. Things don't always go perfectly on live TV, she said. What made this mistake different wasn't just the slip-up. It was the emotional toll it took. For the first time in her otherwise composed career, Dana broke down on air. The weight of constant scrutiny caught up with her. The pressure to be perfect cracked her calm exterior, and viewers saw the woman behind the TV persona. What followed was even more painful: personal attacks. Whispers began circulating that Dana hadn't truly earned her success. Some claimed she was picked for her appearance, that her rise was the result of behind-the-scenes favors, not talent, that her White House credentials and Fox News status weren't earned but given. It devastated her. In a rare emotional interview, she broke down. "If people really think I'm only here because of how I look or who I know," she said through tears, "I'll walk away. I can't have my integrity questioned." This wasn't just about defending her career. It was about defending her worth. Dana had worked in silence for years, writing speeches, advising powerful men, speaking softly in rooms filled with louder voices. She never demanded credit. And now it felt like all that work was being dismissed. But she didn't stay silent. She faced the rumors head-on. "I'm here because I earned it, because of my work, my knowledge, and my commitment," she said. Her tears weren't just about one mistake or one harsh rumor. They reflected years of effort, years of proving herself in a world that doubts strong women. When she said, "Maybe I don't belong here if that's not enough," her voice cracked, not out of defeat, but out of sincerity. That kind of vulnerability doesn't come from weakness. It comes from someone who's given everything she has. It wasn't a breakdown. It was a turning point. Dana wasn't willing to play a game that required her to shrink who she was. And still, she didn't walk away. She didn't fall apart. She stood tall. She proved that being vulnerable and being strong can exist side by side. Her tearful moment on live TV wasn't just exhaustion. It was real, human, and raw. Was it heartbreak, fatigue, or something deeper? Share your thoughts in the comments and stay tuned for the full story.